This is what we are. We are.
Thank you. Is that working? Yeah, can you hear me? Thank you for being here after lunch, and thank you to Andres and Lucy for letting me explain about what we see the future of work from the Ouishare side. So yeah, my name, as has been said, is Albert Cañigueral. If you are tweeting, this is my handle, and you can find the hashtag of IAM Internet Weekend. So to start talking about I want to start talking about the future of work, and for that I need also some space in the scenario. This is a massive scenario, so. And I'll go back. I'll go back first, talking about my dad. My dad is a teacher. He's been a teacher all his life, and he only signed a single work contract in his life with the school he was teaching for all his working life. Myself, I'm an engineer. I already work for 3 or 4 different companies. Probably most of you did the same. I'm freelancing now, and I'm signing some other contracts from time to time. And the future of work is that we are going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of employers, but no contracts. Okay, so we are changing the conception and the expectation of work. Why is that? As Esko Kilpi says, there is a trend in technology. It's now more expensive to internalize than to link and to network. That also refers to workers. Okay, so now it's more expensive to have someone working inside your company than to have someone outside your company working for you or doing tasks for you. And this is changing the way we are organizing the economic activity. We are moving from this managerial capitalism to this crowd-based capitalism. We are moving from factories to platforms, and that has huge implications. Let me give you some examples. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Amazon Mechanical Turk, the artificial intelligence. In this system, you as a user can send, for example, 10 pictures of your tickets, of your receipts, and in exchange, you will get an expense report perfectly done in Excel. It's not a computer that is behind, it's a human getting few cents for that work. Another example is the on-demand economy, or gig economy, or gig workers, where you have a task a little bit more complex than that. In this case, Uber is driving. Uber is the poster child of this type of economy, but that can also be used to get someone to clean your clothes, to walk your dogs, or to take care of your kids. So on demand, you can get anybody doing anything for you. More going back to the companies, in this case, we have a scenario. Let's see if that goes. Like Upwork, this is a pretty well-known platform, also freelancer.com or Fiverr, where it's easy to find freelancers in order to do jobs that in the past were internalized in the companies and now are externalized, like accounting, business development, programming, whatever you can think about. Really, it's massive, the amount of tasks that people can do in Upwork, and it's very easy to find, and you have the reputation and all these systems. So all in all, what we see is a massive change. So, and you need to realize that all your income sources, all your work will be mediated by these platforms. So it's important to understand how these platforms work and what is the effect of that in the work. So let's talk about us first. Let's talk about the supply side. You are more likely to be around here, either girls or guys here on the supply side. So what is the future of the supply side? First of all, we are on internet. No? So next step is that we are going to double the population of internet. We only have half of the people on the internet on the world connected now. In the next decade, we are going to have the other half connected, from 2.5 to 7 billion people connected. So the supply side is going to increase, first of all. So probably the prices are going down. After that, we are going to get some help of external machines, intelligence. The ones who are not from Barcelona probably arrive here using Google Maps. Or the people who are taking pictures will be using Instagram to take cool pictures. So you are going to be helped by machines, by different devices, in order you'll be an amazing accountant, you'll be an amazing business developer, you'll be an amazing web designer, because you'll have the support and the help of some artificial intelligence. So you'll be an augmented worker. More and more tasks will be externalized. And after that, the machines will learn more, and we also add the robots, so we will be replaced, basically, and we will replace workers instead of augmented workers. This is a more dystopian, but not so distant and not so unrealistic scenario for the future, and all that mediated through platforms. And let me redraw this picture for you in a different way, so we see a different, or we can think a little bit differently. We are moving to the digital feudalism, okay? On top, we have the king, which is the owner of the platform. In the middle, we have the lords and the knights, which will be the robots and artificial intelligence, and we, the humans, are the peasants. Okay? Do you like that? Okay, your boss is going to be an algorithm. It's already the case in many of these platforms. Okay? So maybe it's interesting to think or to consider things like, okay. By that, I mean, okay, we need a way out of that, okay? We need to think what can we do and what are the ways out of this dystopian, but as I said, not so distant scenario. One discussion that is being held in many forums is the universal basic income, where this increased productivity somehow is being redistributed to everybody in an equal form. I think we will see that in our lifetime. I really like the solution of the basic income. There is only a problem for the short term. It doesn't depend on us. It depends very often at the state level. And with guys like this one, it's unlikely that it will happen in the next 4 years. Okay? So we need to find solutions in order to go out from this scenario that will depend on us. So how do we get out of the digital feudalism? Maybe we need to think what got us out from the traditional feudalism. It was actually Renaissance. So in order to live from the digital feudalism, we need to work on a network renaissance. So go from digital to networks, which is far better. We need to find, and we need to be the center. The humans need to be in the center. We need to find a way to balance ethics and technology, okay? It's not technology for the sake of technology. We need to redefine our social contracts. We said today about the metaphors. We need to rethink the metaphors in which we interact each other in society. We need to share the best practices, the best outcomes, the best solutions, and we need a questioning attitude. The key element of the Renaissance is questioning everything, so that I encourage you to question everything. It's time to ask new questions and to have this questioning attitude.
New ignorance, new problems, new dangers.
I think I'm a smart guy.
Ouishare is 5 years old now. This video was the celebration of the 4th anniversary. This is why you saw the event from 2016. And Ouishare started around a circle. French people, wine, cheese, asking this type of questions and trying to figure out a way out, no? Thinking about the future. And they could just decide, okay, let's create a company, let's create a consultancy company, a think tank, a foundation, whatever. But obviously that's kind of boring, especially because we've already realized that none of us is as smart as all of us. So we need to grasp and harvest this collective intelligence that is in the room, that is in internet, that is in collectives like this one. So what we decided to create all together from the very beginning was a network solution. And Ouishare is built on this collective intelligence. Ouishare is defined as a think and do thing, because you cannot learn anymore without getting dirty, without doing things, without experimenting with yourself. And we try to have or to keep this Renaissance mindset. We consider ourselves explorers, okay? And we consider ourselves an experiment in permanent beta. You've seen the video. That's one of our key values. It's permanent beta, so we can change and we can readjust anything when we need. We want to be a compass rather than a map, okay? We consider it's more important at this stage that things are so liquid and so fast that we are to have the compass rather than the map itself, because the map can change. And finally, we are really focused on having more questions than answers and spending a lot of time on having the right question, because having the right answer to the wrong question doesn't bring you anywhere. So it's better to focus and spend time on having the right question in this case. Ouishare at the end, for people like me, it's a platform for, as I said, freelancers who want to change the world, explore, and help to improve the future. It's an ecosystem with a large diversity of organizations, people, companies. It's emergent. I'll explain a little bit more what we do. And more importantly, it's an incubator of people. People, at the end, it's kind of even a school. People go into Ouishare and they grow personally and professionally thanks to the organization, and that's what we are, I think, at least I'm most proud of what Ouishare is doing. So, people like this one. This is our largest gathering every year. It's in Paris. It's called the Ouishare Fest. That was the core team of the event, and a lot of them are the professionals from Ouishare. And it's not only in Paris. As I said, this is a distributed solution. So we, although it started here in Paris and it's the largest hub, Barcelona is also a very large hub. I myself, I deal with the communities in Latin America. Mexico is very active. Buenos Aires, Quito is very active. So Montreal also. So we have different people working together and distributed communities around the world. And how that works. This is, at the end, after these 5 years, we've discovered what we are. It took a while. And we describe ourselves as participatory network. And for other organizations and for traditional companies and even governments, we think it's the way forward and the way we are going to reinvent organizations for the digital age. We are exploring ourselves. Again, this is not a perfect answer, but it's a guidance. So for participatory networks, we've discovered that at least we need these 4 things, which is participation, trust, emergence, and scale. I'm going to quickly review some of these elements and what are the things we are doing on that. So, on a traditional company, you'll be in a very hierarchical scenario with traditional management. You'll have rules, titles, tight control, and they will tell you what to do. No? If you ever work in a traditional company, this is probably the scenario you were facing. In a network like Ouishare, you need to play completely different rules. So there is no management. You are looking for leaders, emergent leadership. You need people to lead things. You are not going to ask people what to do. You need to engage them in projects to motivate them. You are not controlling people. You are losing control. The key is to lose control and to empower people with access to information, to graphics, to channels, and sometimes even to money, to access to finance. And rather than going with rules and titles, we prefer to have values and principles, and we review them with the communities. This is not fixed. Okay? We've been reviewing values and principles recently. Trust. Trust is probably the key element on any of these communities, as it's the lubricant, it's the enabler for relationships, interactions, and conversations. Without trust, you can have a lot of people, but nothing will happen. And for that, we talk about digital, internet, blah, blah, blah. But the key element is meet people in real life. That's our #1 rule also. It's MPRL. So this is what we are doing here. For example, the IAM family, it's meeting together, touching, sharing a beer, having lunch together. This is the way you build trust. And in Ouishare, we spend a lot of time working together in different co-workings around the world, in projects, and so on. And every 6 months, the community tries to get together somewhere in the world, usually in Europe so far, in the so-called Ouishare Summit. We spend an extended weekend, 3-4 days usually, working together, having fun, having yoga sessions, taking pictures, here in the middle. So this is in Rome. No, this is in Galvanico. This is in Rome. This is in Lisboa. Up there is in Barcelona, having a dance mask. That's the first one in Paris. You can see the O, the U, and the E here. It's complicated. Badajoz and other places. So, and this is probably one of the key elements of the success of Ouishare doing all these kind of projects. And when you have participation and you have trust, you can do amazing projects. This is Barcelona, Ouishare Fest Barcelona. We're doing a small human tower as one of the performance, but I want to explain that, yeah, it's participation and trust that will enable you to develop all these projects. And with this participation and trust, you want to scale. You want to think that things will happen, will emerge by themselves, and you want to reach and scale. So emergence in Ouishare is fostered by creating safe spaces for experimentation. And at the end, it's about culture. In a traditional company, the culture of failure is not accepted. You need to perform as expected. In Ouishare, that's not the case. We use a concept called stigmergy. I like it a lot. Other people, the conference I already explained. Stigmergy is how the ants will work. When they look for food, they don't know where the food is, so they explore a little bit the woods and the forest. And when they find a nice tree or some leaves, they leave behind them some chemical traces for others to follow, so others can learn from their success. And this is what we are doing in Ouishare. We have this freedom to create, experiment regardless of the acceptance or the rejection of the whole group. You don't need to ask for permission. You just need to inform what you are doing. And in that case, then, you get different groups working in different projects. For example, up there, it's mentioned the Ouishare Radio. It's a podcast that you can find online. This project has been started in London, by the team in London, and then that was replicated by the team in Spain. Here in Barcelona, we are leading the Ouishare University Tour. We are touring universities, teaching the classes, and so on. That is inspiring the people in Latin America to copy the model in other countries. And the largest project is Ouishare Fest, as you've seen. This is the one gathering more attraction, not only from the people in Paris, but from the whole community. And that got replicated already in Barcelona, Rio de Janeiro, and the next one will be in Montreal. So we copy each other. We don't compete. And obviously, there is a space for failure. So you can have a really bad idea anywhere in the world. People can propose. If you don't get support, it's that the idea is not good for the community. It's a bad idea. So it's self-selection or natural selection at some extent. And last but not least, the scale. How do we reach this scale in just 5 years? First, we are not trying to scale up a centralized organization. We scale out. So we grow by replication, as you've seen. We don't have a big central. We try to minimize the infrastructure. So the idea in this new era is that you need to scale your impact and your ideas, not your organization, which is different, okay? And look for mechanisms. And the best mechanism we've seen so far and we've experienced so far with for scaling, it's open sourcing. That's why there is a project called Ouishare Open Source, where literally you can, everything you need to know about our journey as a collaborative organization. You can find our spreadsheets, you can find our finance, you can find our manuals, you can find our procedures, our failures also. Oh? So the important thing is, as our friends from Inspiral say, get more people working on stuff that matters, okay? And we aim to be copied. We don't need to grow ourselves. We want other people to do the same or similar of what we are doing. So free to copy. And at the end, as I said before, with the incubator of people, what we are doing is learning, and learning by doing together. It's really the most funny thing, I think, in Ouishare. And again, going back to the beginning with Esko Kilpi, that's really important because in the post-industrial era, where the work will be done with robots and artificial intelligence, our work will be learning. So the post-industrial work is learning and learning together. That's why organizations like Ouishare, these participatory networks, are the way out. Conclusions. We've seen this scenario, almost dystopian, but I think it's not so unrealistic, of the digital feudalism and the way out with the network renaissance and potentially the participatory networks as one of the solutions. This is the one we propose as the way for the future. And if you want to learn more, on Sunday morning, there is a workshop hosted by Anna, who is somewhere here, over there, and Miriam, who will be arriving later on today, about how do we work. So we want to open up our knowledge to you and whoever is interested. And if you happen to be either in Barcelona or Madrid during May, we have a full-day session also, 23rd and 25th, working about the future of work, redes, networks and collaboration. And you see all the thank you notes here from the presentation, because again, I'm here, but the intelligence is collective, so I'm happy to be here. Hope it was interesting. Thank you.
In randomness, we trust.